tonight on Colonial Sports Center.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Colonial Sports Center. My name is Kevin Plaucha.
I'm Cam Macariola.
Cam, we're into December now. Finals week just around the corner, but winter sports in full swing. What do we have this week in Colonial Sports?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff to go over. A long Thanksgiving break. So many games went on the ice, on the court, and the court is where we're going to start. Last night, men's basketball was in action as they took on the Youngstown State Penguins. Let's see how this game fared, and you'll see here the Colonials losing this game 72-58. Kevin, you were in the crowd with the Colonial Crazies, being one of the Crazies there. It was a pretty good sized crowd for the event. What went wrong for the Colonials?
It was a great sized crowd. The women's hockey team came out. Student section was as big as it's been.
I saw them going up and down the stairs in rollerblades.
Yeah, student section as big as it's been in probably a year, maybe longer than that. Colonials dropped to 6-4 with that loss. There was a lot of things that went wrong. First, we can start with three-point percentage. 3 for 23, a very low percentage. Not going to win when you're missing all those threes, and they didn't even score 60 points. Cam Woods, there was a lot of dribbling. I know that he was coming back from an injury recently, and he's sort of the main guard and acting as the point guard, especially with the news that we have in just a second. But 5 for 15 from the floor, 1 for 5 from 3, 7 turnovers by himself. As I mentioned, a lot of dribbling, not what you want to see from your point guard. 17 turnovers as a team, and just an overall lack of intensity, I think. Gabe Dines for Youngstown State, 7'3". It's hard to imagine how Youngstown State could even get a player that's 7'3". Played 30 minutes. That's the most this season, and a player like that isn't supposed to have that kind of volume. You're supposed to tire him out, pound him into the paint, but the Colonials weren't able to do that, and he played 3/4 of this game.
Yeah, not much domination in the paint, and you said
not
from
much domination
beyond the yard,
out of the paint either.
8% shot rate from beyond the yard. Just a bad outing for the Colonials. But before the conference game against the Penguins, they had a good start so far this season. Nate Fennell is going to break it down more for you.
The Robert Morris Colonials have now fallen in 2 straight contests after their games against Youngstown State and Ohio, but they had a strong start to the season with a 6-2 record in non-conference play, highlighted by a 3-0 sweep of the Urban Bennett Invitational. The team is mostly made up of some new faces combined with some familiar ones.
Coach Toole had to hit the transfer portal hard, bringing in transfer Josh Omajafo from Gannon, who's averaging a team-high 11.6 points per game, and pulled down 4.8 rebounds per game, along with Cam Woods coming off of a Final Four appearance with NC State last season, who's averaging 10 points and 4 rebounds per game, but went down with an ankle injury that opened the door for a couple other guards who transferred in to earn minutes, including Ryan Prather Jr., averaging 9.5 points per game, highlighted by a season-high 19-point performance against Chatham, and Bowling Green transfer DJ Smith, who has a team-high 26 assists this season and averages 9.4 points per game. High-flying Amarion Dickerson also transferred in after leading all of JUCO in block shots at Mineral Area College last season. Dickerson is now averaging 10.2 points per game and 5.8 rebounds per game, while also blocking 27 shots, which is tied for second in all of Division I basketball. Alvaro Folgares is one of just 2 returning players from last season's team that played over 6 minutes per game. He has now taken a major step this season, averaging 10.6 points and 10.5 rebounds per game, which is double his points and 6 more rebounds per game from last season. Overall, as a team, Robert Morris has been strong on the glass so far this season, grabbing 7 more rebounds per game than their opponent. The Colonials out-rebounded their opponent in all 6 of their wins so far this season. However, they were out-rebounded in both of their losses against Youngstown State and Ohio. So that will certainly be a stat that the Colonials will want to swing in their favor moving forward. Strong defense is also a key in Robert Morris winning, as in their 4 losses so far this season, the Colonials have allowed 81 points per game, while allowing just 59.5 in their 6 wins. So far this season, rebounds and defense have both had strong correlation to winning, and certainly will play key roles moving forward this season.
The Robert Morris Colonials will certainly be a team to watch for moving forward in Horizon League play. Reporting here from the UPMC Event Center, I'm Nate Fennell. Back to you guys.
Nate, thank you so much. And Cam, it was certainly a hot start before those last two games against Ohio and Youngstown State. Had a big win against Cornell, a team they were double-digit underdogs against. Had that 3-0 sweep in the Urban Bennett Invitational. So there's definitely something there, especially with all those new faces. It's very tough to gel, but they showed some potential early in the season. It's just very disheartening to see all of that potential just sort of fizzle out in one game.
You see this team, they go on a win streak and they looked really good, and you thought they were a high, and now they come home and start the conference season with such a low
especially
for the team.
against such a big rival like that. Youngstown State
in front of a big crowd,
right,
like that's
and that's
not
the
the
team
way
that
they
draws.
wanna show up.
That's the team that draws the biggest crowds, right? Over the last couple seasons, we've seen Youngstown State. They come in and they draw big crowds, but to lay an egg like that, it certainly does not provide much optimism for the following games. But maybe they will rebound and bring some more intensity, and we'll see. More basketball news, as it was announced yesterday that Justice Williams, the point guard from last season that averaged over 12 points per game, he is out for the season with a knee/leg injury. Averaged a dozen points last season. He was the main point guard. I thought he was going to be a little bit more of a facilitator. Those 2.5 assists were second on the team, only to Josh Corbin, who was there last season. Just a big loss for a team that's lacking a little bit of depth right now.
Yeah, he contributed so much last year, 382 points on the season. As you see, 12.3 per game, and being that point guard, being the quarterback essentially of the game, and just having everything move through you. And you see 93 rebounds. He was contributing everywhere on the court.
He was, and maybe if he was back, that would take some of the pressure off Cam Woods. I'm not sure if maybe he just thinks that, since Justice isn't there, he has to run the ship and sort of just try to do everything that he can. But that's not the case, and, well, it certainly does not help that Justice Williams is out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, on the other side of the court, women's basketball was in action as they traveled to Purdue-Fort Wayne to take on the Mastodons. Let's see how this game ended up, and you'll see the Colonials continuing their conference losing streak, 68-57. You'll see that the game just got out of hand for them. Jada Lee and Isis Grady with 12 points each, and Danny Volatich with 16 carrying the team. Danny had a good game.
She always does.
She had a struggle earlier on in the season, but she has picked it up, hopefully carrying this momentum into conference play.
Isis Grady, a nice under-the-radar player for the Colonials that has really come out and played well through the first few games of the season, but unfortunate to see them take that road loss.
A very nice person, too. I have her in night class. She's very nice.
Very good person and a good basketball player. That's a very good combination. Well, hey, when we come back, we've got men's and women's hockey updates and more here on CSC.
Do you want to meet a family with a transgender kid? Here we are. Max loves to do backflips. Max loves to play his ukulele. Max loves to just be a kid and just be himself. When I found out I was pregnant, all I really wanted was a happy, healthy, whole child. And that's what I got. I think it's really important for people to know that trans kids don't have a political agenda. They are just kids. Like any parent, we love our kids unconditionally, and we will never stop fighting for them. Stand with us. Protect our families.
Wait, not in the toilet.
No, don't do that. No.
Don't hit your brother. Oh.
Not again.
What did I tell you about playing in the mud?
Raffy, not so close to the pool. Wait! Frankie, happy. What are you doing? We told you never to touch the gun! I'm sorry, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. You could have hurt yourself!
Safely store your guns. Unload, lock, and away from ammo.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. It is chilly out, and the men's hockey team was on the ice. They went out to North Dakota over Thanksgiving break. Let's take a look at some of the highlights against the number 12 team in the nation, and we jump right into it. 65 seconds into the game, you'll see a goal by Caleb McDonald. Korkendorfer wanted that goal back, reaching with his glove hand to the right, Just not a move a goalie usually makes, and it ends up in the back of the net. Just moments later, though, you'll see a shot from the point once again, and Jackson Coons gets a tip on it. You see 4-1 when scoring first, and they're already up 2-0 before the 2-minute mark in the game. But that'd be all the action until the third period. As you see the goalie stumbling, everything's getting out of control, and a shot from the point by Dominic Elliott finds its way in, and the Colonials are only down 1 with that power play goal by Dominic Elliott. And then 3-on-2 working its way down just 2 minutes later, and you'll see Mitch Delstra sniping this one for the goal. What a play, perfect 3-on-2 execution. Now, just 11 minutes remaining, Nodak on the power play, one-timer, goal. The number 12 team in the nation is just gonna pound the puck when it's on the power play. 5-on-4, they take the lead. Now, dying seconds, 12 seconds. You see a shot from Klimke go wide, scramble in front, finds its way back to Klimke, shoots it through the 5-hole and in. 5 seconds remaining, tie game. This one will go to overtime, and Tanner Klimke was the hero, but you know what they say, live long enough to be the hero, and then you'll see yourself become the villain, as Klimke takes a penalty, and it leads to this overtime goal right here. They set it up. Jake Livingovich finds Jaden Perron for the one-timer. That's the game. As you see, Colonials, a great effort against a dominant team. You'll see these guys in the Frozen Four often. North Dakota, strong program, and Colonials almost pull up the upset in game 1. Let's go check out game 2. And this game does not have nearly as much scoring as you see, but it's an early start for North Dakota. You'll see Dylan James throw it out front, and Sasha Brover gets the puck, finds the back of the net. 1-0 North Dakota again on their first shot of the game. Now you'll see a breakaway, and Hobie Hedquist for North Dakota with the save. And then Dylan Milan for RMU in net had a solid performance, stopping everything that Nodak sent their way the rest of the game. As you see here, coming on in, backhand shot and an extra block. Just excellent defense, but time runs out as the Colonials get a power play with 2 seconds remaining, and they fall 1-0 as Hedquist gets the shutout for the Fighting Hawks.
Really good performances from the Colonials against a number 12 nationally ranked team. Just a lot of grit from the men's hockey team. But they had a chance to rebound from those 2 close losses as they took on AIC, American International College. We've got some highlights from that doubleheader as well as the Colonials. 2 games against AIC. You see Chase Clark there warming up, ready to play.
Yeah, last time you'll see AIC at the Island as they just cut their hockey program.
There's a goal from Connor Gorley to open things up very early on, just over 3 minutes into the game. His first of the season. Colonials on the board early. No stat about their record when they score first, as North Dakota's was very good, but RMU here with the 1-0 lead. Quick puck movement here by AIC. Who responds? It's Timothy Koklachev with the goal. That's his 7th of the season. That was a very nice move by goalie Chase Clark to clear it all the way up to Brett Rylance, who eventually finds Koklachev to score the goal. Now a little bit later, second period, it's RMU's Braden Rourke to George Cortiris. That fan in front of the camera thinks that it's a goal, but it is saved by Chase Clark. And we're going to see here on the replay, this is a nice save here by Clark.
Yeah, gets the glove hand on it, windmill, showboat, contributing offense and defense. Clark did it all for the Fighting Jackets.
RMU now in the third period trying to take the lead. McKay Hayes shoots it wide, but it bounces out to Dominic Elliott, who rifles it in from the right side for the goal. He's pumped about it. It's his 3rd of the season. The Colonials take a 2-1 lead. AIC now with a 5-minute power play in the waning minutes of the third period here. John Lundy tries to work it to Evan Stella, but the pass is wide, and here's a breakaway pretty much. Tanner Klimke, just Stella and the goalie to beat, and he goes 5-hole, his 3rd of the season, to give the Colonials a shorthanded goal and a 2-goal advantage.
Yeah, not shown, but he had a breakaway just moments before too and got stuffed on it, so he got the revenge.
Colonials win game 1, 4-1. Game 2, Cameron Garvey, power play goal as the power play was expiring, and it is his second of the season. And here comes the teddy bear toss.
Yeah, second of the season and second teddy bear toss goal, as he scored the teddy bear toss goal last year for the Colonials.
Colonials up early again. Gabriel Lund passes it over to Michael Felsing for the goal. His third of the season. Colonials in the first period, just 12 minutes in, taking a 2-0 lead. AIC, though, now on the power play. Jordan Biro passes it over to Josh Barnes. You're going to hear that name a lot. Power play goal for him, his 5th of the season, as AIC tries to fight back. Here's another replay.
Yeah, nasty head fake. Got the goalie biting, moves him all the way out. It's whoever makes that move first. Goalie bit on that move. 2-1 AIC.
AIC, Timothy Koglachev again passes it to Noah Serdakny. Shot is saved, but the redirect is out to Josh Barnes, who scores his 2nd of the game. And AIC all of a sudden ties it up real quick. Early third period, tied at 2. Brett Bamber passes it to Josh Barnes, who skates around, and he shoots and scores. Maybe tipped by Serdakny, but they give Barnes the goal. That's a hat trick and his 7th of the season. Just 25 seconds later, Koklachev, he's going to rip a shot from the right side. It bounces out behind the net perfectly to Biro, his 2nd of the season, who gets it past Croy Kokendorfer. The Colonials split the 2-game set against AIC.
If you looked at that last goal, what I talked about in our last show about gray zone turnovers, that was one for the Colonials, and it takes an average of 8 seconds for a great scoring chance to happen, and it did, wound it up in the back of the net. But let's take a look at the men's standings so far in the AHA so far this season. They were projected to be last starting in the preseason polls, but right now they're sitting 3rd with RIT and Mercyhurst below them. 2 surprising teams that are struggling, as RIT last year was the defending champs.
Yeah, very surprising. You see that the Colonials with a 2-4-1 conference record. Their next matchup is against RIT on the road in Rochester, New York. The Colonials will play 2 games behind the Tigers, who were just behind them in the standings. So a team that you really shouldn't overlook just based on that back class.
Yeah, I mean, they were a stacked team last year, lost a couple seniors, but as you see, the team that the Colonials beat in the playoffs, Bentley so far leading the AHA. But let's move on to women's hockey, as the women's team has been on a little bit of a struggle. 4 straight games with no goals for the team. They have not scored since November 2nd versus RIT, and this is gonna result in this. 0-5-1 in conference play, bottom of the AHA, and just not where you thought they would be, as they were predicted 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely not. Well, Cam, I mean, it's pretty simple. You don't score a goal in over a month, it's gonna hurt. 0-5-1 in conference, 5-10-1 overall, just 2 conference points as they look to dig themselves out of the basement.
Yeah, and coming up next for them will be Syracuse, holding that 3rd spot that RMU thought they would see themselves in, but it's going to be a tough competition and need the goal offensive. Elena G and Pietro out for the season. We'll see if they can get the pucks in the net.
Absolutely. Well, the RMU football season has ended, but there's still plenty to discuss, including awards and the 2 words that massively impact every school in athletics, the transfer portal. We'll talk about that and more when we come back on CSC.
The death of George Floyd, who died in police custody Monday night.
Turning my pain into purpose is pretty much what I have done to start this foundation. It's going to take more than just us, you know, as a foundation. It's going to take the community, the world, to help us make a change, because it just can't be us.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. As mentioned before the break, we've got some football to discuss, even though the regular season is over. Colonials finishing with a 7-5 record overall, but we've got some all-conference awards to give out for the Colonials.
Yeah, let's take a look. First team NEC, you'll see Luke Baltowski, Landon Lucas, Noah Robinson, and Jamar Shagog making that first team. And then the second team, this is a little bit surprising, as you got Tyvon Edmonds Jr., Keon Freeman, Rob Carter Jr., Tyrese Harvey, and Jason Jenkins. NEC not showing much love to this elite defense.
Well, you saw it there. Rob Carter Jr. ranked the #1 cornerback in FCS by PFF, and he's on the second team.
Yeah,
how could that be?
It makes no sense. You saw him offense and defense
and you
making
saw him
plays
on,
out there.
And you saw him on SportsCenter Top 10. You
He
saw him everywhere.
He was everywhere.
And how could he not crack the first team? It doesn't make any sense.
It just makes no sense.
No, it
but
doesn't.
he has been a big part stepping up on why this defense is so much better than last year. Let's take a look at the statistics. Comparing the two seasons, as you'll see in the Big South, 4-7, only 15 sacks, a couple less interceptions and forced fumbles and fumble recoveries, but that doesn't matter as you see 20 points allowed, first in conference, and the 7-5 record, a whole new defense in the NEC.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And you saw those stats, you know, they're getting to the quarterback more than double than they were in the Big South. And that's going to add up. You see 32 sacks, second. The interceptions and the fumbles, they're nice to have, but whenever you're consistently getting to the quarterback and consistently able to make those plays on defense, you don't want to have to rely on interceptions or fumbles. You want to rely on your line to get to the quarterback when it matters most.
Yeah, and they would just have big plays at big moments, and even when it wasn't a big moment, you would see it on like SportsCenter Top 10, but just a great season by the defense.
Yeah, which saved them a couple of games. They were the reason that the Colonials went 7-5 this season. They were a big reason why the Colonials were able to have such a successful season.
Yeah, now, looking into next year, the two scariest words you said, transfer portal.
Makes me shiver.
It is not kind out there, as a number of Colonials hit the transfer portal, including Noah Robinson, Anthony Chickett, Tyvon Edmonds, DJ Moyer, and the list goes on. Sean Charles had a huge year for the Colonials, and then these are some departures, but transfers are just another issue.
Yeah, absolutely. You see those two linebackers, Keon Freeman, Jamar Shagog, big pieces there. Rob Carter Jr. we already talked about, and Jason Jenkins. I think he was a very underrated kicker at the position. And I know it doesn't get a lot of love from any school, let alone an FCS school, but I thought he was a very, very good player at the kicker position, and he wasn't trusted enough. Him not being trusted was the reason that they lost against Edinburgh, but just some very, very notable departures, and one sticks out above the rest.
Yeah, Noah Robinson. He had a big year, 99 receptions, over 1,000 yards again, 8 touchdowns in 2 seasons with the Colonials. He had big play after big play for the Colonials, as I don't know the number off the top of my head, but he had at least 3 80-plus yard touchdowns.
He absolutely did, and he was the guy that could make those plays work from deep or in short yardage plays. He was a super versatile wide receiver that's definitely going to move up, maybe to an FBS school, maybe even to a Power 4 school. You know, I'm not sure, but he was a very dynamic player. 790 receiving yards last season, as well as 5 touchdowns. He helped get Chickett to that 2,200 passing yard mark and those 14 touchdowns. But, you know, I have to real quick mention Tyvon Edmonds. He averaged 5 yards per carry. That's another very notable loss. Just that offense, it's going to be very tough to rebuild it because of the loss of those guys, especially Noah Robinson.
Yeah, Tyvon Edmonds could be the Saquon Barkley of the Colonials, unlike Derrick Henry, not rushing for much yards, 24-19. But it's been a fun time, and it's just going to keep on getting better as we move to top 5 plays just after this break, so stay tuned on CSC.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions of refugees have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Families don't have to talk about everything, but they should talk about how to plan for an emergency. Get tips and resources to make your family's emergency plan.
Welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. It is time for Top 5 Plays, our favorite segment of the week. No time to waste. Here we go.
Yes, one last time. Here we go. Number 5, we're going to start off in Purdue, Fort Wayne. As you'll see, the Colonials and Mastodons getting ready to tip off. Off the tip-off, immediately pass to Madison Odell for the bucket and an early lead. The clock didn't even run.
Clock didn't even start. They weren't ready for that blitz off the tip-off. Number 4, men's basketball at Ohio. A little bit better ball movement here than we saw against Youngstown State. Would have really liked to see that. Alvaro Folgueras, nice pass inside to Amarion Dickerson, where he likes it best, around the rim, for the dunk.
Yes, an entertaining player Dickerson is, but we go to number 3, and we saw this one earlier. Big shorthanded goal by Tanner Klimke to clinch this game. Goes forehand, backhand, and it finds its way in the back of the net, and that would steal a victory for the Colonials in game 1.
Off a 5-minute power play, AIC could not get anything done. Number 2, football versus Stonehill. While we were on Thanksgiving break, final few minutes of the game, Stonehill backed up big time and down 11. Jamar Shagog breaks through the line. He's working as a spy, and he demolishes Drew Eason. But wait, there's more. He fumbles, and it's picked up by Turner Schmidt for the touchdown, clinching the win.
True, true. Here comes Jamar Shagog. That's a first-team NEC play. But number 1, as you'll see in North Dakota, Klimke shot wide, and here he comes. Fakes it, 5-hole in the back of the net. Colonials tie the game against the number 12 team in the nation. Tanner Klimke on here twice.
Pretty amazing to get that game-tying goal with just seconds to go. Well, Cam, we got to look ahead. Games to watch. Go.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with men's ice hockey versus RIT. And who else is my player to watch but Tanner Klimke, as we just saw him twice on Colonial Sports Center Top 5. He needs to get this team going offensively and hopefully could beat the defending AHA champs, RIT Tigers, on their home ice. It's a pretty tough student section out there, so it'd be nice to keep them down.
Certainly would. My game to watch, men's basketball. I've talked at length about them on this show, and I will talk about them more. At Purdue Fort Wayne, Sunday in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Joshua Mojafo, I think he needs to take over as the main point guard. His shooting percentage is about 9 percentage points higher than Cam Woods, and if he's going to limit the turnovers better than him, I think he needs to be that guy, be the main scorer. He's going to go up against Jalen Jackson, who's averaging 18.7 points in his second season as a Mastodon. Well, Cam, this is a big night for you.
This is it.
This is
the
last
one.
Final show.
I know.
On Colonial
Last
Sports
year
Center.
we had our senior time, but it's finally coming to an end.
How are you feeling?
Scared, terrified. It's a lot all at once. Trying to find a house and stuff, trying to move, trying to get a job, let alone. But
I think you'll be just fine. After all,
I'll miss being on
a very
CSC.
good CSC anchor.
Yeah, it was such a great time.
Cam, I've been very happy to work alongside you on this show. I've been very thankful. I think we make a great team, and you do a great job. And I'm very, very looking forward to see what you do in the future.
Thank you, man. But I just want to say thanks to everybody who helped contribute to this show from my freshman year to senior year. It's been a great time. But this is the end, and we will see you guys next semester. Not me, but later on CSC.